Shalom, Yahshua, Shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawahsi, peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. And I want to do a video just kind of carrying on some of the previous videos I've done in the past regarding Trump, regarding a lot of his policies, the things he's been implementing. And this is something that has been, getting a lot more national media coverage within the last couple weeks. I think this is on Truth Social or something like that. And you can see it reads Donald Trump saying the dollar collapse is happening right now. And then somebody saying, yes, it's been collapsing, but at a faster speed now. So y'all brothers know I speak about that on different videos. But now you hear a lot of people on X, on Twitter, on Instagram, Threads, whatever it is, YouTube. They're speaking about how the dollar is plummeting, or I'm not going to say plummeting, but it's degrading faster. So I wanted to kind of look into why that is and why somebody like Trump will literally say that when he's obviously the president of the United States. So this is another graph I got. It's pretty good. It says putting the dollar and gold on the same chart and drawing a line at Trump's inauguration tells a crystal clear story. So you can look at this. Now this is an index, so I don't know if this gives the exact price of the dollar, because obviously the dollar is different compared to whatever currency is being traded. But you can see the index for the amount of gold that's coming in, or that's being bought or being supplied, compared to the levels of the dollar. And this is from January 20th, 2025. So let's look at the levels on Robinhood or whatever. All right, so this is gold futures. This is a stock for gold. So you can see this, it only goes to about January 31st, but you can see the price of gold was at 2,800. Moved up slowly within about 5-6 months. And then towards October last year, it kind of started to shoot up. And recently, since last month, it went up about, I'm gonna say, $800 in 1 month, which is insane. Now there was a huge pullback that happened, I think it was yesterday, where gold went down like 20%, but you can still see the percentages up top is that gold has skyrocketed. Let's look at silver. So this is the silver stock. It was at about $30 when it got inaugurated. As you can see now, raising kind of slowly, about like $15, $20 by October. And then in December, it just kind of skyrocketed. Now again, this one, it definitely took a turn yesterday. But my point is this: whenever you see things like this and you see gold and silver are skyrocketing in money markets, it lets you know that world powers are uncertain. It lets you know that geopolitical blocks, economic blocks are very uncertain. And obviously in times of uncertainty, economies, free trade, trust, alliances, those things go away. And as I said in the specific post, Trump is playing his role. Trump is a great divider. He was a great divider in his first inauguration and presidency. And I think there was like a graph that showed in the years when Trump was in office, how there was like riots every year. And then with Biden, there weren't riots, and now there's riots again. But my point is this: Trump is the person who's meant to divide, the nation. For whatever reason it might be, is because he's bold, he's unapologetic, he does certain things that people don't like. I mean, let's be real, when you're a leader, there's gonna be some people that you're gonna piss off. It just is what it is. And with his ambitions for the country, he's gonna cause a lot of vitriol and backlash in what he's doing, which I'm gonna explain. But my point is this: this isn't normal. So this is showing that we're going into a time, into a state in which there's going to be a lot of uncertainty. And that's why it's so important and so imperative for y'all brothers to pay attention to these things, because one, the Most High is showing you the direction that the world is going. And two, you have to be able to hide yourself. As the scripture says in Proverbs 22:3, it says, a prudent man foreseeth evil and hideth himself, but a simple man passeth on. Just being straight honest with y'all. If you guys are being overly consumed with bullshit, vanity, sports, entertainment, but you have no understanding on what's happening in the economy that you, your family, your children, or whatever are operating in, then honestly, you got to be more alert and more attentive, because the scriptures calls for us to be attentive and to be constantly seeing what's going on. Let's get this scripture real quick. This is 1 Peter 5:8. It says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour." And we all understand Trump is one of those proverbial devils. It is what it is. These politicians are proverbial devils. They don't care about you. Your job doesn't care about you. So you as a man, you have to be alert. And oftentimes, if the Most High is watching over you, he'll give you certain signs and certain signals of information on what's going on, so that way you don't get caught with your pants on the ground. Now, this is something I also wanted to bring up right here. It says, it tells you a few things. The U.S. is in decline, and the world is running away from the dollar and U.S. bonds. This means gold, metal, energy, and other countries' currencies. Meaning the other countries are running away from U.S. debt, and they're going to gold, metal, energy, which is why you have the price of gold, silver, all these things going up, energy, and other countries' currencies. So they're leaving from the U.S. dollar and they're going to other dollars. Why is that important? Because the U.S. economy is propped it up when all these other countries trade within the U.S. dollar. I made videos on that. Y'all brothers can check those out, or you can do your own research and study. But essentially, as those countries leave, the price of the dollar goes down. Why? Because the influx of all the money that's been printed over the last 40 to 50 years is being flooded back into the market. Because when the U.S. bombed Iraq, when the U.S. bombed Afghanistan, when the U.S. went to war with the Persian Gulf War, when they had that extreme spending bill in 2008, when they had the extreme spending bill during C-19, essentially they printed 20 to 30%, maybe even more, 30 to 40% of the money supply that you brothers put in your bank account within the last 5 years. And the only way you can stop stuff like that from destroying your currency is when other countries buy your debt, like China, like Japan, like Europe, and other places like that. So the more that these countries lose faith in America, the more the influx of dollars come in, which means the dollar that you're working for gets worth less and less and less and less. And other countries look to other areas for safety and for a hedge from the uncertainty that's coming on. So right here, verse 3, it says, more geopolitical risk in the future. The world is going to be set on fire by a president who is in cognitive decline. Now, this one, I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. I mean, y'all brothers understand prophecy. Y'all understand the world is going towards World War III. That's just, it is what it is. If you're somebody who follows and believes the Bible, that's a part of the prophecy of it. So we understand that Trump plays that role perfectly. I'm going to get into that later. It says the yuan could become an alternative currency, and it's happening fast, faster than anyone could have ever imagined. Let's also look up this specific video so y'all can get a better understanding.
Pulling the rug out from under the U.S. The dollar is going to collapse. The dollar is going to be replaced by gold. Central banks are buying gold to back up their currencies. True. They're getting rid of dollars. They're getting rid of treasuries. We are headed for an economic crisis, again, that will make the 2008 financial crisis look like a Sunday school picnic. The biggest difference between the crisis that we're about to have and the one we had back then is this one is all in America. It's not going to be exported to the rest of the world. It's not a global financial crisis. It's an American financial crisis. And the world is now...
All right, so he said a lot, and I can't pause the video. Y'all brothers can tell. I can't pause the video. But... the gold and the silver stuff, it's clearly a sign that there's something going beyond the scenes, right? Now, what he said is that the collapse is only going to be in America. That's not true. But what's happening is as these other countries get rid of the dollar, they're trying to hedge themselves. They're trying to protect themselves. It's kind of like a boxer. If a boxer knows that a strike is coming, like how Canelo did against, what's the dude name? I forgot Crawford, Terrence Crawford, like how he knew he was going to get hit, so he rolled his head back and people started laughing. He was trying to reduce the impact of the damage of the punch. When these other countries try to get away from the dollar, they're trying to reduce the impact of the punch. So this is Fox News. This is a so-called conservative news outlet. And this is, I guess, some expert or something who predicted is right here. It says Peter Schiff thinks the collapse of the US dollar is a warning something bigger. And I guess he was the guy who also called that there would be an economic collapse back in 2008. So again, when you see a lot of these signs online, this isn't a sign that, they're just pumping fear. I mean, all the signs are going towards very bad economic turmoil and upheaval. I mean, it's just the nature of the times we living in, brothers. I can make videos about merry things, but we're not really in a time of merriment. We're in a time of the precursors of a lot of judgment, a lot of change in the world. It is what it is. So you brothers, you sisters, y'all can't get caught up in what you think is going on. You gotta look on what's actually happening, because the vast majority of things in this society that move, of course they move off the spirit behind the scenes, but they move off of finances up front. So we're kind of heading into a time of a lot of uncertainty, which is why y'all brothers need to understand these things, because it will help you stay girded up with the word and know how to prepare yourself, right? All right, now this is something that Trump had mentioned, I don't know exactly, the 29th. So it says, President Trump says the current financial system is outdated and will soon be replaced with a state-of-the-art cryptocurrency framework under the new structure bill. The entire financial system could go on chain, powered by crypto. So let's take a look.
Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that 2 years after? Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, saying that 2 years after many.
So, it's coming right out the horse's mouth. He's saying the old system is outdated, the money system is outdated. We need to build a cryptocurrency framework, just like what he talked about when it came to getting these data centers, just like he talked about getting approval to build certain things for AI, just like when he spoke about Greenland and how they needed minerals for robotics and artificial intelligence. Everything is moving into a new play, and the most important thing that y'all brothers need to understand is that there's going to be a new financial monetary system. New financial monetary system. None of us have ever lived through this. None of us have ever experienced this. None of us know and understand the ramifications of what's going to happen and what that specifically is going to look like for us. So this is the most important time to be girded up in the word and girded up in the understanding, because this ain't 2020. This ain't a fairy tale that this would happen in 10 years. It's already 2026. It's already 1 month through this Greco-Roman year of 2026. Before you blink, it's going to be the end of 2026 into 2027. And a lot of these systems are going to be up and operating. So you can't just be sleepwalking through these times, because it's critical. It says 1 Thessalonians 5:5. It says, you are the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as others do, but let us watch and be sober. And let's look up that definition of watching and be sober. So to watch, it means to wait, to be vigilant, to take heed lest through remission and indulgences some destructive calamity suddenly overtake one. And a great sudden calamity could be the collapse of a dollar. It could happen tomorrow, it could happen next year, it could happen next decade, but all the signs are pointing that it's happening sooner rather than later, right? And this is be sober, right? It says to be sober, to be calm and collected in spirit. This is so imperative, brothers. Be calm, because, again, we are liking tribulation to being lost at sea. Rain coming down, the waves are powerful, moving you every way, which direction. Your mentality, your spirit has to stay calm and collected, even when you're dealing with emotions. And that's how you pray to the Most High, and you pray that He give you the strength to be able to handle it, because you and your body, you're gonna fold up, you're gonna falter, and you need the Most High to lift you back up. He knows you're not gonna be perfect, but He needs you to do your best to not only be calm and collected, but to be sober, meaning stop overindulging in things of the world. Stop overindulging in your need for a woman. Stop overindulging in your need to obtain many things in a society that, again, is on the decline, faster and faster. And to be temperate means to not be too high, not be too low, but to be in moderation, right? And the reason why I wanted to bring up these other aspects that y'all brothers can see is so that way y'all can understand Trump's plan, right? All right, so I just wanted to kind of show y'all like an overview of this so y'all can get a better understanding. So Trump is playing his role. What did Trump run off of his play? Make America great again. And through a lot of the things he spoke of, he talked about America first, having jobs, bringing them back to America from Southeast Asia, from Central Asia, from South America, Central America, parts of Eastern Europe where the labor is cheap, right? He wants American jobs here, and he wants America to be self-reliant, right? Which is why he's been trying to get more oil production and things like that. So the reason why is because he feels that boosts the economy, because you have more jobs, you have more people able to work. Now, this isn't taking into effect robotics. This isn't taking into effect AI. Y'all got to keep that in mind. But this is his vision if you're just looking at it from the surface level. And what essentially he does is, the reason why so many of these countries move their manufacturing jobs is because it was cheaper to manufacture things in these countries and just ship it to America compared to having a building, having robotics, having a manager, having a worker, having to transport everything in U.S. currency, which is much more valued. So you have to pay more in order to make those goods. So what Trump is doing on the surface when he's saying the dollar is collapsing, right? The dollar collapse is happening. He wants the dollar to collapse. So that way, if you ask, why are you deliberately destroying the dollar? He's going to say this. Well, when you just destroy the value of the dollar, that makes manufacturing cheaper, right? And not only that, but what he does is he wants the federal chairman, the person who's appointed in the Federal Reserve, to lower the interest rates. We can look up an article on that. So you can see right here, I'm not going to go through an article, but it says Trump taps Kevin Warsh. This is a new federal chairman who he wants to be able to cut interest rates. Long story short, because this could be very complex, it took me a while to figure it out. But long story short, when you have higher interest rates, it's harder for people to buy homes, harder for people to buy cars, because everything is funded by debt in America. 90% of what most people pay for is funded through debt. So the lower the interest rates, the more people are going to buy, which funds the economy, which also raises inflation, because the reason that inflation is so high is, not inflation, the reason why interest rates are so high, it tightens the money supply. Instead of them turning on the printers and printing money to devalue the dollar, a higher interest rate prevents a lot of this inflation, which Trump doesn't want. He wants to make the dollar worth less, so that way he can bring these quote-unquote jobs back to America. And that's why you're seeing a lot of things from people buying gold and silver, because they understand what's going on with the dollar. And then also Trump, he brings in a lot of instability through the way he talks about Greenland, Venezuela, Middle East. He's a wild Trump card. He's a loose cannon. People don't trust his words. People don't trust his actions. They turn on the TV. They see ICE. They see Trump saying, we're going to bomb your country. We're going to do this. That's essentially Trump playing his role. So he has a philosophy behind it, which is America first. But also what the elites do is they use him as a vacuum to cause a lot of political instability and a lot of the things that not only can isolate America from the rest of the world, but can also cause America's collapse to happen faster. Essentially, Trump is taking a massive gamble in his policies. He's saying, look, these politicians have been doing this for 20, 30 years. We know that it's not working anymore. I'm going to try something to make these jobs come back, to keep America strong, to keep them less dependent on Europe. But you have people protesting, people hating him, many countries not wanting to be around him, not wanting to rely on America, seeing America as a bully. And essentially, you're going to have a lot of chaos. This is where you come in right here. It says, and this is the most important thing, right? Because obviously, y'all brothers care about, okay, well, how does this impact me? I can't control Trump. I can't control these other areas. Well, you're going to experience pain. Because if you have a lower value of dollar, y'all brothers work 40 hours a week. Let's say a dollar is worth $10, right? For y'all, for what you work. You work 40 hours a week, that's $400. Let's say Trump puts things into the economy that causes the dollar to get lower, then what happens? The dollar's not worth 10 anymore, so now it's worth 9. So now instead of you making $400, you're making $360. So if you're just a brother getting by, if you're just a brother trying to work for a wage and trying to make a decent living, it's going to be harder for you to save money. It's going to be harder for you to be able to do things to get out of the position you're in. And with AI coming in and taking in all those lower wage jobs, it's going to be very hard for you to get jobs that can allow you to, essentially move up, be able to provide and take care of your family. So we're literally in between a rock and a hard place. A lot of financial guys are talking about how you're gonna have two classes: the ultra rich class who can avoid these things, have the capital to pay for these things and have their money make money, and then the honest brother or the honest sister, where you're gonna be out here hoping and praying that you have a miracle to be able to pay for everything as the dollar gets worse and less value each and every day, while also having many of these other countries who depended on America and somewhat propped up America through the financial system, turn its back on America, sell all the debt. So essentially, America is left on its own. But there's going to be chaos in a lot of stuff all throughout the world, even outside of this system. I'll probably make some videos in regards to it, like global warming and things like that, political tensions. But I just wanted y'all brothers to be able to understand the system and why things are the way they are now with the dollar and whatnot. So that way y'all can get a better understanding on what's going on, because this is just the reality. And it's better to be in truth and reality and have some sorrow compared to being in delusion and all these things hit you like a can of bricks and you're not ready and you're not prepared for it. And I want to end it on a couple scriptures. This is Isaiah 45:7. It says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahawah, do all these things. So we understand the Most High not only creates and forms the light, but he also creates the darkness. So the good and the bad that may happen in the wicked systems that are propped up, the systems and the machinations and things like that are happening, the Most High is also in control of that too. So we also have to understand the Most High's power in that if you're of the elect, if you're one of his saints, if you're doing what's necessary each and every day, and again, placing him on the forefront of your mind, the Most High is going to protect you. But you got to make sure you're not falling into delusion. You got to be honest about yourself. You got to be honest about your walk. You can't be filled with pride thinking that you're this person who's been walking in faith for 4 or 5 years and I'm just good and I'm just going on autopilot, because the scripture even says, it says, pride goeth before destruction. Whatever pride, whatever false sense of self-elevation you have about yourself and how you think the Most High may see you is going to be taken away right before you're judged. So make sure you brothers understand that and never get complacent in this walk. Also understand this. This is Ezekiel chapter 7 and 19. It says, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the days of the wrath of Yahawah. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. So essentially, this is a verse saying, do not trust in silver and in gold. I know a lot of brothers say, oh, see, that's why we shouldn't really be preparing. We should just be reading the scriptures. This is talking about people who aren't truly walking with the Most High. Why do you think Yahawahshi in the gospel said, let every man selleth his cloak or his purse, one or the other, I'm paraphrasing, and buy him a sword? It's speaking on how there are times where you have to be able to move correctly and understand whatever situation you're in, because there's a time of peace and there's a time of war, so you need to be prepared for the situation. But he also said, he who liveth by the sword dieth by the sword, meaning if you rely on that sword, you're going to be destroyed by it. So if you're relying on silver and gold as compared to relying on the Most High, there's no point buying silver and gold, which is what the vast majority of people who are buying silver and gold are going to fall into. But if you're a true believer of the Most High, if you're a true follower of Mashiach, and you understand that silver and gold is a hedge, why would you not do it? Because the Most High is going to show you favor and grace in doing that if you understand that. I mean, let's get Proverbs 20:23. This is the book of Proverbs 20:23. It says, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. So a prudent man foreseeth the evil. You see what's going on. You see what's happening. This isn't a fairy tale. If a prudent man sees this, he's going to hide himself, protect himself. We can look at it. Let's look at what hideth means. So hideth, it says to conceal, to be hidden carefully, to hide oneself carefully, to conceal. So essentially, you're trying to take yourself out of Dodge. You're really trying to take yourself out of Dodge. You're not trying to be exposed to what's happening within this society, if it all at all be possible. You see what I mean? So there's nothing wrong with brothers and sisters, wanting to get investments that prevent or stop your money from becoming a piece of toilet paper and being worthless. But at the same time, you can't trust in those things. You can't place them as idols that they're gonna save you in those days, compared to the Most High, who's going to give you grace, favor, and mercy from those things that are going to happen in those days. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and 39. It says, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. And that kind of speaks to that Fox News dude, where he said it's only going to hit America. Nah, these plagues is going to hit the entire earth. Now, it's going to hit America harder than anybody else, but it's going to hit the entire earth. And those sorrows, those lamentations, is going to be upon every nation. But verse 40, this is the key. It says, "O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be as pilgrims upon the earth." So you have to be as a pilgrim, meaning you have to detach yourself and be willing to move away from whatever you've built in this society, whatever thought you had about who you are within this society, and be able to up and leave it, because at any point in time you can lose it all. But you can never lose eternal life if you be of the Most High's elect, which is why that's the most important thing that we are to keep our mind focused on. So Lord willing, this lesson's edifying. Again, it's crazy times we're coming into, but that's just a part of the Most High's will. Lord willing, y'all brothers stay girded up. I give all praises to the Most High, Yahawah, Bahasham, Until next time, it's Asha Abad signing out.